So, Shedeur has been drafted. The prayers of the gods have been answered. Shedeur has been drafted. The wait is over. Nah, but in all reality, in all seriousness, congratulations to him and his family. The Cleveland Browns. Now, first and foremost, I know he's glad that he's been drafted, right? For the better part of, I don't know, over 20 something years since Cleveland has come back into the NFL, they've been bad. I remember everybody had the Tim Couch jerseys back in the day, back in the late 90s when I was in high school. And I was like, who the fuck is Tim Couch? And when I think about the Cleveland Browns, even to this day, I think about Tim Couch, who was, put up a rather pedestrian career. But I'm not gonna say pedestrian. He went into the NFL, so he was alright. Then they had what's his name? They had Brady Quinn. They had so many people that was thought to be something. Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Watson most recently, and now they have two new quarterbacks. Excuse me, they got about 4 new quarterbacks. The only quarterback that remains from last year is Deshaun Watson, and I'm not gonna talk bad about that. We all know how that went, but notable quarterbacks that slid. Geno Smith, Jimmy Clausen died. I remember his name. Brady Quinn, Aaron Rodgers, Chad Pennington, Brett Favre, Boomer Esiason, Dan Marino. 27th overall. The teams that passed Dan Marino is blasphemy. Boomer Esiason the same. Brett Favre the same. Chad Pennington was good. Aaron Rodgers is the big name that stands out right there. That's the big name that stands out right there. So now, depending on how Shedeur's career goes, well, not really how his career goes, but he joins that list of quarterbacks that have slid. Now, the Browns, so far, first round draft choice, DT Mason Graham out of Michigan. Round 2, pick 33, linebacker Carson Schwessinger, who was actually the first pick in the second round. Round 2, pick 36, running back Keyshawn Judkins out of Ohio State. Round 3, pick 67, tight end Harold Fanning Jr. out of Bowling Green. Round 3, pick 94, quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Now that one had a lot of people like, huh? Let's touch base on Dillon Gabriel real quick. So first things first with Dillon Gabriel, he's clearly undersized. I'm not the scouts, but Dillon Gabriel size 5'11". So Hawaiian. Did he make it to the was he one of the finalists? Hold on. Was he one of the Heisman finalists? I remember that he was the Hawaiian dude. He's been candidate. Was he one of them? Yeah, Browns add Heisman finalists to quarterback room. So this is a Heisman finalist. So he's no scrub. He's no scrub. We know he wasn't gonna win. We know Travis was gonna win, but he's no scrub. I like it. I like the competition. But nevertheless, if Shedeur had, let's make it quick and easy. They swap teams. Shedeur's a Heisman finalist. Because like I said before, I'll say it again. That O-line, even though they improved that O-line was putrid. Hence, Shedeur leading the league in sacks the last 2 years. I saw Dillon Gabriel. Running back Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee, which was round 4, pick 126. And then we get round 5, pick 144. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. All right. Like I said, the best thing is the man got drafted. That's what we said. He said, thank God. He said all the right things. He got drafted. That's all we care about. you know, why he slid, it was hard for me to say this, but I'm going to say it. Teach you a lesson. You got too much swag, kid. And confidence is something you want. I always say this reference. I always, like, my players, I want to tell them to turn down. I never want to tell them to turn up. Because if they turn, I can coach that. I can coach and help them, mold them. But if I have to tell you to turn up, what are we doing here? You know, some things I think about him not going to the Columbine, making the players come to him. Making the team representatives come to him, and in my opinion, not really blowing them out of the water. I mean, I think he missed like two throws he missed, but still he didn't blow them out of the water, in my opinion. So, but he said it was a good reason. He wanted to get all his other guys on his team some notoriety. So, but I just think they wanted to humble him, and this is gonna work out for the better for him, no doubt about it. You know, I'm just a man that's been around for some decades, about 4 decades, 5, and been watching football for my, almost my whole life. Played football. I know football. I'm a sports big sports guy. I've never seen this before, but don't take my word for it. We got a lot of like NFL analysts, insiders, former coaches, and whatnot, and let's see what they had to say about it.
I think it's disgusting. I don't understand what the heck's going on with this. 5th player on my board. Never happened before in 47 years where a player that high has dropped this far into the 4th round. A quarterback that's sitting there in round 4 with other quarterbacks being taken who aren't as good as Shedeur, aren't even close, in my opinion, in terms of accuracy, toughness. Arm strength is certainly more than good enough. I don't see, outside of not being having the rocket arm and the 4.6 speed, the big frame, the 6'3", 230-pound frame, what is he lacking? Somebody's going to have to explain that one to me. 4th round, Kirk Cousins went. 4th round, Dak Prescott went. Worked out pretty good for them. It's just that Shedeur was projected a lot higher than they were. That's why we're having this discussion.
Ryan, I am absolutely stunned. Here's a player that started 37 games, led the nation in completion percentage. He's also incredibly tough. He was sacked 94 times over 2 seasons and only missed 1 game. He was my 2nd quarterback on the board, very similar to Mel. I thought he was a 1st-round pick that could come in and start right away because of anticipation and accuracy. I cannot believe that a team in the first 3 rounds, 102 players were drafted and didn't draft Shedeur Sanders. Ryan, one of the things you have to understand is the NFL is the ultimate meritocracy. Every team has the same amount of money. Every team has the same amount of draft choices. And not one team thought that Shedeur Sanders could help them win when 5 quarterbacks have already gone. I was part of the Miami Dolphins in 2016, and we drafted Larry Tunsil. He was the #1 guy on our board. Larry Tunsil was a great player, a great person. He obviously hit a bump in the road, and we saw it as an unexpected opportunity. Johnny Manziel came out, a lot of questions about his background. He won in the 1st round. The fact that we're sitting here talking about the 4th round is unbelievable what has happened, given the fact that this guy's been such a good player over 37 games.
The best way to put it, Ryan, is I'm stunned. I'm absolutely floored that Shedeur Sanders is still sitting here on the board. And if you think about it, I think it's more so to do with what's happening off of the field. Now, as far as those questions, I don't know exactly what there are, but if we're just grading the player on the field, I don't see a player that should have made it out of the 2nd round. I had him ranked as my number 19 overall player. He can help a team win football games as a starter. And some of the quarterbacks that went ahead of him, I was floored by some of the names that went ahead of him. I get it, Jackson Dart and him were seen as in a similar tier as going as the 2nd or 3rd quarterback off of the board. But after that, some of the quarterbacks that went ahead of him, I'm still shocked.
All right, so you heard it from the experts. Now, if are they correct or are they wrong, who knows? Right now, the only thing that I care about is the fact that he got drafted. He got drafted. That stuff's in the past now. It's time to work now. So, he made his dream come true. He didn't have his daddy literally hold a team hostage and make him draft him. I love making these Bronny and LeBron references. I don't give a fuck. But Let's see what Shedeur does. All right, Shedeur Sanders is drafted. What kind of career you think he's gonna have? Let me know in the comments. KJ Media 100.